For this midterm exam, we have asked two professionals to answer a couple of questions pertaining the profession of interpretation and translation. I would like to start with the first, which is there any legislation to our profession, translation and interpretation? The second, is there any professional organization or has ever been? The third, what does the future look like for our profession? These are the answers. To help me answer these questions, I got the graduate Orlando, who is a teacher at Universidad Angélica El Salvador. He was more than willing to go ahead and give insights and his ideas about the questions that we have discussed before. Here are a couple of his thoughts about the topic.
To be honest, I don't really know like an organization here in El Salvador. I have seen many in other countries, especially in South American countries. They have many. Nonetheless, in our country, we don't really have like a professional one. I guess we can have some at the student level, let's say it in that way. For example, here at the university, but even here at the university, it has not been active for many years. So, well, in other universities, like the University of El Salvador, that has the master's degree in translation and interpretation, some students sometimes organize. But to a professional level, like 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 an entity regulating translation and interpretation, to be honest, I don't really know one in El Salvador. Maybe some translators and interpreters in this country may have been associated to other organizations from abroad, from other countries, but here in our country, I don't really know any. Before, well, yeah, like an organization of professional graduates from translation, not really. Just a couple of enterprises dedicated to translation or interpretation. They are somehow like a reference that we have, but just like that, like private enterprises being like somebody to go and ask in case you have any doubts about translation.
I have a question though. Why do you think is the cause that as a as in the academy we don't organize as translators and interpreters?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this has something to do with culture, that we are very disjointed and we don't usually tend to create groups to actually go ahead and create products to work in the market, let's say?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it has to do with culturally factors?
It has to do, yeah, one way or another, it does have to do with culture. For example, I don't know if you got online the last week to this conversation with Dr. Lopez and Mr. Bustillo and Emerson. There was one like 1 week ago in the afternoon, and we were discussing that in a country like El Salvador, we are like a monolingual country, and our culture is pretty much the same. We don't have like many cultures coexisting together in our country. We have basically one. So, and which is the kind of culture that we have, a monolingual culture related to Spanish and the tradition of Latin America. So, in a country like this one, it's somehow difficult to introduce or maybe to highlight and improve something external. Yeah, sometimes people are somehow, I don't know, like reluctant to incorporate in something else. They don't see it, maybe not necessary, because I don't know, when you go outside, when you go to the streets, to the shopping centers, to run all the errands and the everyday activities, we're using basically one language, which is Spanish here. So people maybe have not identified like a need to have somebody helping me to communicate in a different context. So, and when they do have it, as I was telling you before, they say, oh, okay, there is an enterprise doing this, so I will go and hire them. But maybe they have not noticed that the necessity, the need is there, and if it were somehow organized, it could be addressed even better. Because if we could have like an organization of professionals, even for the people who hired you, it would be somehow more reliable. I mean, they would say, okay, I want to hire Harold Garcia because he's part of this organization. And because he's part of this one, I'm sure that he's doing a great job. And I can trust him because he has a valid diploma. So people, unluckily, many people here in El Salvador, you know, they don't appreciate people who have studied. Maybe sometimes they rely more on money.
The future of the career is certainly not clear. This is a monolingual country. We have a lot of things that have not yet been developed, as a code of ethics, for example, or a clear organization for translators and interpreters, specifically in El Salvador. But again, the future is uncertain, and many things may happen as history unfolds right in front of our eyes. And I would like to be hopeful about the future. And whoever is listening to this, if you're waiting for a good life to happen to you and to your career and your profession, you're doing wrong. Sometimes it's better to make that happen, to build the prestige that the career may one day hold for us.